Donald Trump has backed down on some of his tariff plans, seemingly in the face of rising borrowing costs. Has the President done a Liz Truss on the global economic stage?
Look, I'm very pleased to see the changes in relation to the tariffs, but the challenge hasn't gone away. And I don't think this is a passing phase. I think we're living in a changing world. Now, for defence and security, we've already recognised that over recent months, which is why we increased defence spending, or why we've stepped up across Europe in relation to defence and security. We now need to do the same on trade and the economy, which has to be translated into, one, turbocharging our own economy, going further and faster with the changes that we need, which is why I announced what I did about Z mandates and electric vehicles on Monday, and about life sciences, reopening of Doncaster Airport. So doing more here in the United Kingdom, but also talking to international leaders about how we can lower trade barriers across the globe to make it easier for our businesses to thrive. But we've got to step up here on trade and economy in the same way that we've stepped up on defence and security.
You said a bit earlier in the week you didn't know if a deal could be done to get rid of the 10% tariffs in the UK. Are you any more confident now that that deal could be done with the US?
Well, our teams are talking, and we've got good relations. We are calm and pragmatic. The US is our closest partner of defence, security, intelligence, and of course huge amounts of trade. But I'm clear in my own mind that on its own will not alleviate the challenge. It's bigger than that, and that's why we've got to step up and turbocharge our own economy. And I want to be a government that's active, that's on the pitch, sleeves rolled up, working with our businesses, working with our communities, and delivering for working people across the country.
On a separate topic, some of your MPs are concerned about whether the government's doing enough to look into the scandal of grooming gangs. Can you promise that any area that needs an inquiry will be made to have one?
Well, my approach to this, and I've been dealing with grooming gangs for a very long time. I prosecuted the very first case that was ever brought to court, so I know this issue very well, and it's very serious. First thing I'd say is, if there's evidence of grooming, the first thing that should happen is the police should be involved, investigating, if appropriate, prosecuting, and then getting people in before a court, and if they're guilty, into prison. So that's my number one route. Of course, I accept the argument that there should be wider inquiries. There have been a number of inquiries. We've had hundreds of recommendations. We've had a national inquiry with 22 recommendations. My strong belief is we've got to implement those recommendations. At the moment, and under the last government, they just stacked up and sat on a shelf. So they need to be implemented. We're now implementing the recommendations from the national inquiry. 17 of them we're taking forward. Of course, if there's further local inquiries that are needed, then we put some funding behind that, and they should happen. But I don't think that simply saying we need more inquiries when we haven't even acted on the ones that we've had is necessarily the only way forward. I think that what we can't have is inquiry after inquiry, reports sitting on shelves, recommendations not implemented. Let's get on and implement the recommendations we've already got.
But you're still committed to local inquiries where necessary, because some are worried that you're watering that down.
No. We put the money behind it. We're not watering it down. We're committed to that. But I'm equally committed to implementing the recommendations that we've got. They were sitting on a shelf under the last government. And if you're at the most important level, if there's evidence of grooming that is coming to light now, we need a criminal investigation. I want the police investigation because I want perpetrators in the dock, and I want justice delivered.
Prime Minister, thank you.